Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about which specializations are the most tournament viable. The final tournament to qualify for the BlizzCon World Finals is this coming weekend. So I think now is a good time because it looks like there's not going to be any more class changes, and unless something randomly happens in the next couple of days before the gauntlet, which I think chances are pretty low, other than maybe some bug fixes, which probably won't shift this too much, if at all. The way that I've structured this tier list is that if it's at the top here, it means that I think it's probably going to win the tournament. The second place is might win. Third place is we'll see it in the tournament, but probably won't win. Maybe is like, maybe we see it, but probably not. And then not played at all is down here. So which specializations, I think just like a 0% chance that we're going to see them at all. Now, do note that this tournament is starting with a gauntlet, which includes the top 8 from each region. So they're going to be competing for the 4th and final spot throughout the weekend. So we may see a little bit more variety, at least on the gauntlet days, than we see on the actual finals days. And we'll see how that evolves and what comes of that. But it is an important component to consider for this tournament on Friday, is that it's not just the top 4. So some specializations might be seen relative to some of the others. And as always, if you want to make sure that you're staying up to date with news related to World of Warcraft, educational and entertaining content, then make sure to smash that subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated. So Affliction Warlock, I would say, probably has a very good chance of not being played at all. However, the Gauntlet, maybe there's a couple of teams that might play it. It's a very strong maybe. But I think it's more closely going to be not played at all. It's a great spec in Shuffle and Blitz at the moment, but in 3v3 with dampening it as slow as it is, it's not able to survive where its damage is actually that effective, in my opinion. I think there's only one Warlock spec actually that has like a significant chance of being played, but might not go all the way. So this is me being generous, honestly, with Affliction. I think it's probably more likely here, but maybe we see a team in the Gauntlet. They're probably going to lose, but we'll put it on maybe for now. Arcane, I think, is not going to be played at all. Frost and Fire are just vastly superior in every capacity. It's just a liability relative to those two specializations, and obviously you're directly competing with them, sharing the same class. So unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing any Arcane. Arms Warrior, I'm going to put on the might win category. I think some teams are practicing Mage Warrior. You know, it's kind of dependent, like, what's the meta going to be? Is it Rogue Mage? Is it Warrior Mage? Is it Feral Mage? There's a lot of questions there that I think are still up in the air because the melee DPS balance is actually pretty close. So I don't know exactly which setup it is going to be. So I'm going to leave Arms Warrior actually pretty high here. I think that Ret Warrior 2 is a possibility. So it could win, but I'm not guaranteeing it in as like a locked-in spec to be able to take the whole thing. Assassination Rogue, again, I think it's probably a maybe. I think Subtlety and Outlaw are just vastly more competitive. Maybe somebody in the Gauntlet, or maybe somebody who re-rolls to a Rogue but can't play Outlaw or Sub because they're not good enough. We've seen that a couple times. So it's like maybe we'll see it, but I think it's probably a low chance that it's going to be able to take the whole thing. Augmentation Evoker, I think, is not played at all. On my ladder tier list, I literally just played this yesterday in full blues because somebody gifted 5 subs for it. It's actually strong. It's actually strong. Your Apex talent is actually overpowered. It's actually strong, but I don't think in a tournament setting it will be. So I think it's very unlikely that we see it at all. Nobody's practicing it, and I think people really only pick up this spec if it's like extremely overpowered. And I don't think it's in that category. So I think likely we're not going to see it at all. I don't think we're going to see any tank specs. So I'm kind of throwing these down to the wayside. Beast Mastery Hunter, I could see this as a might wins. I do think like Ret Hunter could be a viable option. DK Hunter could be a viable option. It would be pretty tough, but maybe. So I'm putting it on the might win. Brewmaster, again, probably not going to see any tanks. Feral Druid, again, I'm putting it on the might wins category. I think Feral Mage could have a chance here. I think Feral Warrior could have a chance here. Maybe even Feral Hunter could have a chance here. So on the might win category for this one. Boomkin, I think it's probably maybe at best, but I really think it's probably not played at all. I don't believe Corky's team, which was the only main Boomkin team, qualified, and anybody else who has a Boomkin can just play Rogue Mage instead. So I think it's really unlikely that we see it. I honestly want to just put it down here. I really don't think we're going to see it. I'm taking a risk here and saying we're not going to see it at all. Devourer, Demon Hunter, maybe. I could see it as a might win. I think like Rogue Devourer, maybe we see it a couple of times. It might be like a pocket pick in one round, but I don't think it's going to be like a core thing that wins the whole thing. So like maybe I should put it here. I don't know if it'll win the whole thing. I think that the rogues are probably going to be keeping this guy down quite a bit, but I think it'll be played at least. Demonology Warlock is another one I think is likely going to be played, which might come as a surprise with Warlocks, but I think Warlock Mage, if any team gets really desperate, Demonology Warlock Mage might be a viable option, and it could be good into some of the cleaves, so it could be played. Destruction Warlock I think is also one that's has possibilities to be played, at least in the Gauntlet, but it's probably going to fall off pretty quickly. Devastation Evoker, this is one where I think it might win. I think like particularly Bank Mistweaver's team, Devastation Hunter comps and Devastation Feral comps, maybe they have a chance. Might be able to go the distance here if they have a good tournament that's played completely out of their minds. So it's basically just their team, because I can't think of any other team that even has it that currently sits as high as they do. So maybe just them. Discipline Priest, I don't think it's going to be played. I think it's just too much of a liability in threes, unfortunately, which is funny because like it's the most popular spec in the solo brackets. I'll leave it on maybe. I don't want to leave it as an impossibility just because of the Gauntlet. There's probably some teams in the Gauntlet that they only have Disc Priest, so you'll see it in the Gauntlet, but then after that it's probably going to quickly fall off. Elemental I think will likely be played, but I don't think it's going to win. I think some teams will probably try Thunder. I think the Warriors are going to kind of keep Ellie in check mostly for the tournaments. But it'll probably pop up at least I think a couple of times. Enhancement Shaman, this is a spec where I kind of want to say it might win. I think it could. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Like where are we gonna go with this, right? Like I'm gonna leave it on might win, but might be able to win the tournament. Again, melee balance is a lot closer than anything else, so I think that Turbo, we might see it, but it struggles with Ret Warrior, so it's very situational. Could do well into the Mages possibly, although I think the Rogue Mages are really strong right now. Frost DK, I definitely think will be played. I think that Hunter DK will pop up 100%, at least in North America. Maybe in Europe, but kind of unlikely. But I think it will be at least played. Fire Mage, I could see wins, and Frost Mage, I could see wins. I don't know which one. I think Frost is safer overall. We're probably not going to see Fire, but at the same time, I think like Fire Subtlety is actually very scary comp in some situations. I guess maybe we'll drop Fire down here. I think Frost for sure is going to win in both regions, if I had to guess. It's just crazy strong at the moment. I don't think it has any immediate direct counter that is going to, like, there's been some talk of possibly Shadow Priest, but my expectation is that Frost is going to dominate, given that they didn't do any changes. Fury Warrior, I don't think we're going to see it, unfortunately. I think Arms Warrior is just far better in this capacity. It's not that it's bad, it's just it's going to be better with given all the cleave and all the melee DPS, and Fury Warrior is just not good in that environment. Havoc Demon Hunter, I think for sure will be played. I don't know if it'll win. I think this could be an underdog spec, honestly. So like maybe I'm underrating this. It could be an underdog. I think the Rogues will probably check it and put it in its place. So I'm going a little bit more conservatively with it. But I think it's definitely going to pop up a few times. Holy Priest for sure is going to be played. I don't know if it'll win, but I think for sure at least a couple times. I think it's some Rogue Mage setups. I think it might be played. Don't know if it's going to go all the way. Holy Paladin, for sure it's going to be played, but it's probably going to lose. And it's mostly just because there's a couple of healers that are like main Paladin players. It's all they play, and they're in the Gauntlet. So you're going to see them, but maybe not. Maybe they've given up on it. I'm going to leave this on maybe. I think it's a maybe. Maybe they've practiced other healers, from then to now, and they're not going to play it. Marksmanship Hunter for sure is a might win. I think Marksman Frost, Marksman Feral, even maybe Marksman Ret might have some possibilities, although it's probably slim, but they might have some possibilities. Mistweaver, I'm going to put on might win. I think it's got strong, but I don't know, because at the same time, I see Meep complaining about something really bugged on it, but apparently it's been accelerated to the dev, so maybe that bug gets fixed. If it gets fixed, and I think it might have a good chance of being at least on a team, played at least a couple times. The main reason is I think it counters hunters, so I think teams will use this as a healer to counter hunters because of its port trap. So like Rogue Mage with a Mistweaver against hunters. So I could see it winning. While it's not maybe like the main pickup, but it was important in some matchups. Outlaw Rogue, I could see being a spec that wins. I think that it's just Rogue Mage is really strong, and Outlaw will probably be the main factor here, as it's just the best rogue into mages, which I think are going to be the main thing here. Preservation Evoker is definitely a might win category. Probably will win, but I'm going to say might win just because there's so many rogue mages and they actually kind of counter you. I think Druid's probably going to be a safer bet. Tank specs I don't think we're going to see unless somebody gets really desperate. Resto Druid, again, this is kind of the comp that I expect to win the whole thing. I think it's just the safest, most well-rounded comp, and you can swap out the warrior, the rogue, or possibly the feral druid, and maybe the druid with a different healer if you're running with the feral druid. But this is kind of my prediction, at least, for winning the whole thing. Ret paladin certainly has a good shot. I'm going to put it on the might win category. I think ret warrior, the double healer aspect of it, maybe it can dampen rogue mage. It's a strong maybe. It's a strong maybe, but maybe. Resto shaman, I don't think we're going to see played at all. So I'm going to put it down here. I don't think we're going to see it played at all. I'm trying to think of a comp. If they buffed the purge on it, so electrocute was actually, they sort of buffed it, but it wasn't enough, and they actually made it a gas pedal class. They could like purge down these mages and just train them into the dirt. This tournament would be so sick if they actually did that successfully with the damage tuning on electrocute, because then it would have a spot. It could just be the gas pedal healer that just mashes purge on these mages, and then people have to adapt something new to the meta, but they just didn't buff it enough, so it's just not going to exist at all probably. Shadow is a weird one. Shadow's a wild card because everybody's been saying it's so bad, it's so bad, it's so bad, but I've heard whispers that maybe it has some type of build for rogue mage, and I mean maybe shaman's a part of that formula. Maybe I end up being completely wrong with this. I think it might be played. I'll leave it on maybe. This guy is kind of a dark horse. He could be somehow the saving light that prevents this from just totally dominating the weekend. We will see. Subtlety rogue, I think, will be played. I don't know if it'll necessarily be the spec that wins. I think it depends on the situation. If you're fighting preservation evokers, I think the rogues will switch to subtlety, and if you're not, then they'll probably be playing outlaw. So I think I'm going to put subtlety on played for now, but I do think this will probably be the predominant variant. Survival hunter, it really just depends. I actually can't remember if Bick makes his team even made it into the gauntlet. I need to double check that or not, because I did not have a good performance. I'm going to say maybe we see it, but I really don't think it's going to go that far. Unholy DK, you know what? I'm taking a big gamble with this one and saying that maybe it has a chance to win. I think maybe it has a chance to win. Vigorous's Hunter DK was actually looking really good. That comp seems really strong right now, honestly, from what I've seen on the ladder. There's a couple of Demon Hunter Death Knights that maybe could throw something up into the mix. I'm going to say like maybe. It's a strong might though. It's a strong might. I don't think we're going to see Vengeance. Windwalker, again, the melee balance is really good. I think Windwalker could possibly be in here with like Windwalker Mage, or maybe some type of Windwalker Enhanced Cleave, or something like that. This is just kind of how I'm vibing based on the spec's current viability and the rosters that are going to be competing, and trying to correlate those things all together. These guys might have a chance to beat this, but these guys have a really good shot. And then some things down here could be wild cards, and then other things I'm not expecting really to see any of. So just a fun discussion leading into the tournament. What can you expect to see your spec, or what type of chance can it have? You want to take bets on it, type of deal for fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the discussion. Thank you guys very much for tuning into the video, and I will see you on the next one.